Hey guys, it's Terry from Smooth's Workshop here again. Right, some more gadgets. Now, this one isn't so much a review as sort of, because it's a DIY kit. So you get a bag of bits and you have to build it yourself and solder things together. Right, I'm crinkling away with an ESD bag. Right, what am I talking about? As a hobbyist, and not as a professional electronics expert, all the electronics guys have a thing called an oscilloscope. What the hell's an oscilloscope? Right, it's pretty simple actually. It's a meter that displays voltage over time and whatever waveform it comes in, and it displays it on a little screen. Now, I would love to afford a beginner's oscilloscope. This is more of a beginner's one, but like a slightly more professional one, like it's a Handtech DSO 520p digital oscilloscope, 200 megahertz, 1 gig of samples, all the rest of it. I'll flash a picture up just now. That's kind of what I'm aiming for, but I can't afford nearly £300. So I've got a little DSO here, right? So what is this? Now, I will admit this is not going to be a high-tech product. It's not going to be as good as the Handtech. It's a little 2.4 inch screen, digital oscilloscope. But you've got to build it yourself. All the SMD or the small surface mount components are pre-soldered onto the board. The rest of it you've got to do it yourself. So it's basically known as a DSO shell. That's what they call it. So let's have a little look in the bag to stop it crinkling. I'm dying to get this out. I've got another product to go with this, called a signal generator, but we will get to that in time. So let's have a little look. Now, I will link you down below to one of these on Amazon. Now, you know how I was saying you've got to pay like 300 quid for a professional one? This is okay for a hobbyist. It's £19.99 or thereabouts. What do you get? Right, you get a little case. Okay, so there's a DSO shell, so that's the front of it. A load of components in there. The bit that goes on the back. And obviously there's going to be an LCD screen and that in there, but you know, there's the other bit. So you're going to end up with a tiny little oscilloscope that you can use for your projects. So I'm going to do this video in two parts. I'm going to show you what you get in this little kit. And then I'm going to do a build video where I actually solder all the little bits on that you get in the bag, and see if I can get this little baby working. So, what do we get in this bag? Well, let's have a look and see. Might as well. So, another ESD bag. What do we get in this bag? Right, so we get, looks like quite comprehensive instructions in colour. That's handy. We get a main PCB which has an LCD screen already affixed to it. That's handy because I assume that goes inside there like that, and that'll be what we will see when it's all finished. Lovely. So let's take that. Oh, was that my stomach rumbling there? So we'll get a PCB here, and on the back there are some surface mount components on it. Now, if you want, I will put this under my digital microscope, let you see what's actually there. But all the surface mount stuff, all the tiny little stuff, has already been pre-soldered onto the board. And all you have to actually do is put all the, what we call through-hole stuff on. So what's this? This is another little board. I'm assuming it probably sits like that below the buttons, and also has some more. There's a couple of little pots on there. Let you have a look at it, see if you can make anything out from it. If not, I'll go under the digital microscope. So, a little double-sided board. Excuse me, got hiccups. On there. And the board with the screen, which is already pre-soldered on the ribbon and on the reverse side. Let's see, a DSO 150 it says. So there's a quartz crystal there of 8,000 or 8 megahertz. All the support components, there's a chip on there. Is this the right way up? Can I get it to focus? That's what's the main chip is. There's another chip off to the right. Lots of inputs, outputs. This looks like voltage regulation here because there is a, I believe it's a 9-volt DC jack, but I haven't read the instructions, so obviously this will be some sort of voltage or current limitation. So everything that is surface mount is already done on these. Anything you have to put on, like buttons, etc., which we call through hole, have to be done separately. So we've got that. Right, let's have a little look at the instructions. Give me a second, I'll just pause and I'll be right back. Welcome back. Right, so you get quite a comprehensive user manual. My one's Rev 06 and it shows you all the components when they're all laid out. Okay. Check kit contents, blah blah blah. So a lot of it is all pre-soldered. Tells you how to solder ICs, but ours are all pre-soldered, so we don't have to worry about that. And the same with the other passive parts, they're all pre-soldered. You can seemingly get these kits without the SMD or the small devices pre-soldered on. So you need a soldering iron, multimeter, screwdriver, cutter, tweezers, 9-volt supply, but they're looking for 200 milliamps or higher. Needle nose pliers, a small slotted screwdriver, and little hints about soldering. So it's got a lot of basic stuff about all the different connectors. It's actually telling you to remove a resistor. Meter all the resistors, ceramic capacitors, slide switches, pin headers. Just basically telling you what all the parts are. So that's that bit. Step 1, step 2. On to step 3. Mount a small PCB. Assemble the front module. Fold over the board. Well, that's already pre-done on the one that I've got. Tells you what all the... This is the analog board. Tells you all the bits. How to adjust trimmers. How to assemble it all. It's quite a reasonable amount of instructions on here. So, yeah, I'm going to do a build video series on it, but you know what I'm like. It'll be like, yeah, I want to get to this bit and actually get it working. So there's quite a comprehensive little instruction booklet comes with it. Right, so we've got a bag of extra bits. Ho ho ho. what's in the bag of extra bits. This is where I lose everything. So you've got the two end pieces, quite nicely printed actually. AC/DC switches, 9V DC and all that in. Another little board for through-hole stuff. Obviously that'll all become apparent when we get there. And there's a screw. This looks like a potentiometer, which will be, I can feel the wee knurled. Is that a pot or is it one of these rotary, I'm trying to remember the name of them now. It's not a potentiometer, but a rotary encoder. I think that's a rotary encoder. And there's quite a reasonable notch on there. So that's obviously the one that goes kind of, I'm assuming, just looking at the pins there, even though some of these are bent, which is a bit of a shame because they're all in a bag, I'm assuming the rotary encoder goes across there at the bottom for your adjustment. So there's a little rotary encoder there, and there's a little knob that goes on the top of it, like so. Right, this is one of the tactile switches. It's quite a big one, quite a positive click on it. So that'll be 1, 2, I'd be expecting 4. There we go. 3. Because there's 4 buttons. 4. And if I look at the front, what have we got on the front of here? We have 4 buttons in the adjustment on the rotary encoder. That's fine. So a few more little screws. And a nice little pin block, which will probably be for joining both the boards up. We've got a few electrolytic capacitors that are, never heard of that make before. Yeah, ching chong, ching chong. 40 plus 105 degrees. Right, so we've got 100 microfarad. Is it 300 microfarad capacitors? There's another 100. Yeah, 3 100 microfarad capacitors. We have the connector that will go into the main board for the BNC connector on the back, which is a standard connector that they use on oscilloscopes. And another little through board connector. There are a couple of wee screws, another wee screw, a little plug there that'll be for power or whatever. Standard little right angled power connector. What have we got here? We have a 1, 2 position switch, 1, 2, 3 position switch actually. So we've got a little switch, and I think this is another switch. Which is only a couple of positions. We have the little tab for calibrating your leads and some more screws, and that's basically what you get in the kit. So it's quite a comprehensive little kit, but all the main components, as in all the SMD stuff, has already been pre-soldered. So all you've got to do, this is all through-hole stuff. And I can't see you going too far wrong with 3 capacitors, some link bars, 2 switches, 4 tactile switches, and that. So you can't really go too wrong. So the next part of the video will be me building this, and it might be quite long. But it's all a bit of fun. It's good for learning your soldering and things like that. And hopefully at the end of it, I'll have a working oscilloscope. So I'm going to keep this as a short one. It's a teaser. This is the kit I've got. As always, feel free to support me on Patreon. I'll put the wee link up down below. I'll also link in this kit so you can get it for Amazon. I'm an Amazon affiliate. So if you want to get yourself one of these kits and build it up yourself, yeah, I'll give you the wee link to purchase it. Now, 20 quid might sound a lot of money, but when you look at a professional oscilloscope, which is something that I'm aiming towards, even though it's a beginner's one, at 300 quid, it can let you do a lot of little things with your circuits and give you a better understanding. It's not an essential piece of equipment. If you've got a multimeter, you can do most of this. It's just, I like my gadgets. And so I've got one of these, and I'm going to solder it all up and see if it works, and I'll show you how I solder it up and show you the results. So if you want to get one of these and follow me along, I'm going to link you to the KK Moon one and on Amazon. So it'll be in the little tab show more, and it'll give you the description for it. And we will go from there, and we will build this up together. Now, after I've built it, I've got another device. As I say, an oscilloscope basically reads voltage over time, whether it's AC or DC, and shows you different waveforms and stuff. You can get a thing called a signal generator, and I've bought one, and it's a KK Moon one, and it's this thing. So that'll be the next thing that I will review, because with this I'll be able to test that. As I say, if you are a professional, one of these little DSO shell oscilloscopes is not really going to be much good to you. But for the hobbyist like myself, who wants to know what the duty cycle of his 555 timer is, and his oh Christ, I'm trying to remember the number of the chip now. It's all covered in dust. What is it, a 4017 CMOS logic for running this sort of LED setup? It's really good. It lets you kind of know how a circuit works, but it's not essential. As I say, if you've got a voltmeter, you don't really need one of these, but I'm a gadget freak. So yeah, without waffling on too much more, this is kind of what you get in the DSO kit. It says 1 mega samples and not to 200 kilohertz. Not sure. The leads they give you are crocodile clips on a BNC connector. I have purchased a proper probe, but I think it's only 60 megahertz. Don't know if it'll work with it, but I'll give it a go at the end. And yeah, basically clip your negative on, your positive on, and it will show you what the circuit's doing. Probably over the head for the basic guiding in electronics, but if you like your gadgets and you're trying to learn more about electronics, it's a fun little thing for 20 quid that you can buy. Right, waffled on long enough. So, it's Terry from Smooth's Workshop, playing with the electricity, and the next video will show you me soldering all the bits onto this, putting it all together and seeing if I can get it to work. Yeah, so that's it for now. It's Terry from Smooth's Workshop, and enjoy your hobby, look after yourself, bye.